of a plan executed to brings energy as I paced outside, my heart racing with anticipation. Today was the day I had chosen to surprise my wife, Sarah. I had meticulously planned this moment, hoping to ignite a spark in our marriage that had faded over the years. The idea was simple yet bold: a beautifully wrapped box of jewelry, left on her desk, with a note that would surely catch her off guard. The note read, "From your lover." As I placed the box carefully on her desk, I stepped back, hiding just out of sight behind a nearby potted plant. I could hear the muffled chatter of her colleagues and the clatter of keyboards. The scent of fresh coffee wafted through the air, mingling with the lingering aroma of her favorite jasmine perfume that clung to my skin. Minutes felt like hours as I waited, my mind racing with scenarios of joy and love. I could already imagine her expression, the surprise lighting up her face as she unwrapped the gift. I smiled at the thought, this would be a turning point for us. Finally, the door swung open, and Sarah stepped in, her heels clicking against the polished floor. Her long hair cascaded over her shoulders, framing her face. I held my breath, eager to see her reaction. As she approached her desk, the smile on her face grew wider, and she gasped in delight upon seeing the box. "Oh my God," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. She glanced around, ensuring the coast was clear, before reaching for the box. I could barely contain my glee. But then, as she opened it, her expression shifted. Instead of the gratitude I had expected, her delight morphed into sheer elation that was not directed toward me. "Mark! You shouldn't have," she squealed, holding the necklace up to the light, admiring its brilliance. "Mark?" My stomach dropped. I stepped slightly forward, trying to catch a glimpse of who she was addressing. To my shock, I saw her boss leaning against the doorframe, a smug smile plastered across his face. My heart raced as the realization hit me like a freight train. My wife wasn't just surprised, she was overjoyed because her affair was now laid bare, right there on her desk. "I can't believe you did this." "You're the best," she said, throwing her arms around him in a moment that felt like a dagger to my heart. I felt the air leave my lungs as the weight of betrayal crashed down on me. This wasn't just a casual fling, my wife had willingly given her heart to another man, her boss, no less. My pulse quickened with anger and humiliation. This wasn't how I had envisioned our day. I felt a rush of fury surge through me, and I knew in that instant that I would not let this go unpunished. They had shattered my trust, and I would not rest until I took back what was rightfully mine, my pride, my dignity, and my life. As I stepped back, shadows of their laughter and stolen glances painted a picture of their secret. I clenched my fists, my mind racing with thoughts of revenge. "You think you can just betray me like this?" I muttered under my breath. "You're going to regret this." With a deep breath, I composed myself and quietly retreated from the office, plotting my next move. The game had changed, and I was determined to win. I could feel the fire of revenge igniting within me, fueling my resolve. I would expose their affair, ruin their lives, and restore my own. "I'll make you both pay," I whispered, my heart heavy yet resolute as I stepped into the bright sunlight, determined to turn the tables. The seed of vengeance had been planted, and it would grow into something formidable. Little did they know, this was just the beginning. My story of betrayal had only just begun, and the climax would be worth the wait. I drive home, my knuckles white as I grip the steering wheel. The reality of Sarah's betrayal gnaws at me like a relentless parasite. The laughter I heard in the office echoes in my mind, punctuated by the moment she threw her arms around Mark. How could she? How could they? A wave of anger washes over me, but it's quickly replaced by a cold resolve. I won't let this go unanswered. Once I step inside our home, the memories flood back. Every picture on the walls, every trinket we collected together, it all feels tainted now. I slam the door behind me, the sound reverberating through the empty rooms. I need to think. I need a plan. I grab a notepad from my desk and start jotting down ideas. My phone buzzes, and I glance at the screen. It's Sarah. My heart races. She's texting me, asking if I'm okay. I scowl at the screen, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. What could she possibly say that would make this better? I decide to ignore her message and focus on my revenge. As I write, I formulate a plan that will expose their affair and humiliate them both. First, I need proof, something I can use to show everyone the kind of woman she really is. Mark's position as her boss makes this trickier, but I know he has weaknesses. Everyone does. I just need to find his. The next morning, I wake up with a sense of purpose. I'll start by going to the office under the guise of picking up some paperwork. It'll be easy enough to slip in unnoticed. I grab a dark jacket and a baseball cap, disguising myself. The last thing I want is for anyone to recognize me. As I approach her office, my heart races again. I can't back down now. I take a deep breath and push the door open, making sure no one sees my face. The office is bustling with activity, and I can hear Sarah's laughter ringing out as I sneak around the corner. "Can you believe he left that for you?" I hear a coworker say. "What a fool." Right? "He thought it was so clever," Sarah replies, her voice dripping with mockery. But Mark knows how to treat a woman. It's refreshing. My fists clench at her words, but I force myself to stay calm. I can't act on impulse. I need to gather information. I look around, scanning the room. Then I spot it, her purse, sitting unattended on a chair. This could be my chance. I glance around to ensure no one is watching, then quickly slip over to her bag. With shaky hands, I unzip it and rummage through. There's a small notebook, and I flip it open. My heart skips a beat when I see the notes inside, details of her meetings with Mark, along with times and locations. This is the proof I need. Suddenly, I hear footsteps approaching. Panic surges through me, and I quickly shove the notebook back in her purse, just as Sarah walks in with Mark by her side. I freeze, my heart racing. They don't see me, but I can hear their voices clearly. "Did you tell him?" Mark asks, his voice low and conspiratorial. "Not yet. I want to make sure it's done right." "I don't want to lose him just yet," she replies, a hint of something in her tone that makes my skin crawl. "Just remember what we talked about. He can't find out about us." "Not now," Mark warns. My breath catches in my throat. The realization hits me hard, she's still playing both sides. My anger bubbles back to the surface, but I suppress it. I need to remain focused. I take a step back, careful to stay hidden, and listen. "I won't let him ruin this," she promises. "I've worked too hard to get to this point." I watch as they share a knowing smile, and something dark churns inside me. I can't let this go on. They think they can manipulate the situation, but they have no idea what's coming. After they leave, I quickly take a picture of her purse with my phone. The evidence is locked away in my digital vault, ready for when I need it. I slip out of the office, adrenaline coursing through my veins. This is just the beginning of my revenge, but now I have a clearer path. I'll start with Mark. He has a family, a reputation, and I plan to expose him for who he really is. If Sarah thinks she can have it all, she's in for a rude awakening. I can already see it, their world crumbling around them. Later that night, I sit at my computer, the glow of the screen illuminating my face. I search for any information I can find about Mark, his social media profiles, anything I can use against him. I start collecting evidence, images of him with his family, his professional accolades. I won't just ruin their affair, I'll ruin their lives. With every click, I feel a sense of satisfaction washing over me. The betrayal stings less with each passing moment, replaced by the sweet taste of revenge. The pieces are falling into place, and soon enough, they will pay for their deceit. Let the games begin, I whisper to myself, a wicked smile creeping across my face. The intrigue of my plan only fuels my resolve, and I can't help but feel that the best is yet to come. The following days blur together as I dive deeper into my revenge plan. I spend my evenings compiling evidence against Mark, carefully documenting their affair. I save photos, record conversations, and note every detail I can find. Each new piece of information feels like a small victory, fueling my determination. One evening, as I sit at my desk poring over the evidence, my phone buzzes. It's Sarah. My heart races as I consider ignoring her, but then I remember that I need to keep up appearances. I take a deep breath and type back a casual response. Sarah, hey. I've missed you. Can we talk tonight? I hesitate, considering my next move. I need her to think everything is fine. Me, sure, what time? She replies quickly, suggesting we meet at a nearby cafe. As I read her message, a plan begins to form in my mind. I decide that tonight will be the perfect opportunity to confront her. But not just about her affair, I want to toy with her, to make her feel the uncertainty that I felt when I discovered the truth. As I arrive at the cafe, the familiar scent of coffee and pastries fills the air, but I can barely enjoy it. My heart pounds in my chest as I scan the room for Sarah. Finally, I spot her at a corner table, her eye scanning the cafe, clearly searching for me. She lights up when she sees me, and a smile spreads across her face. Hey, she exclaims, standing up to give me a hug. I force myself to return the embrace, my insides churning. Hey, I reply, trying to keep my voice steady. We sit down, and I study her, searching for signs of guilt. How was work? Busy, as usual, she replies, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. But I got some good news today. Mark praised my project in front of the entire team. A tightness grips my chest at the mention of Mark's name. I can't let her see how much it affects me, so I force a smile. That's great to hear, I say, my voice betraying none of the turmoil inside. It feels good to be recognized, she continues, a glimmer of pride in her eyes. I think he's really going to help me climb the corporate ladder. My stomach twists. I can't let her continue to think that everything is fine. So, is that what this is all about? I ask, leaning in closer. Climbing the ladder with your boss? Her smile falters for a moment, and she looks away. What do you mean? You seem really close to him, I say, watching her reaction closely. You seem happy. Sarah's brow furrows, and she leans back in her chair, crossing her arms defensively. Of course, we're close. He's my boss, and he's been a mentor to me. Is that all he is? I challenge, my voice low. Just a mentor? Her expression shifts, the defensiveness hardening. What's with the sudden hostility? I thought we were here to talk. Let's talk, then, I say, my heart racing as I push further. About Mark. About what's really going on between you two. Her eyes narrow. What are you talking about? You're being ridiculous. Am I? I lean forward, lowering my voice. Because I found something that says otherwise. What do you mean? She snaps, irritation flashing in her eyes. Do you really think I'm going to let you manipulate me while you're out there playing house with your boss? I retort, feeling the adrenaline course through me. I've seen the texts, the meetings. You think I don't know? Her face pales as she processes my words, and for a moment, I see the cracks in her facade. You're being paranoid, she insists, but her voice wavers. Am I? I shoot back, determination surging within me. Because it sure sounded like you were having a good time with him. The cafe's noise fades into the background as we engage in a tense standoff, the air thick with tension. I can see her emotions shifting, the realization that I might actually know something she didn't expect. You wouldn't dare, she finally whispers, her voice trembling slightly. Wouldn't I? I respond, my tone icy. You've made your choice, Sarah. You've decided to betray me, and now you have to deal with the consequences. She opens her mouth to protest, but I raise my hand, silencing her. You don't get to deny it anymore. I've seen the notes, the calls. You think I'm just going to sit back and let you walk all over me? I can explain, she pleads, desperation creeping into her voice. Explain what? That you're in love with him? That you're ready to throw away our marriage for a few promotions and some fancy jewelry? I lean back, letting my words hang in the air. You think I'm going to let you just walk away from this? Her eyes flicker with something, fear? Guilt? I can't tell. But I can see her mind racing, trying to figure out how to salvage this situation. I never meant for it to happen, she stammers. It just did. Save it, I snap, my anger boiling over. You've dug your own grave. Now, you have to lie in it. Just then, the cafe door swings open, and in walks Mark, laughing with a colleague. My heart skips a beat as he approaches, and I instinctively glance at Sarah, who pales at the sight of him. Hey, Sarah, he calls, oblivious to the tension in the air. Ready for that meeting? I watch as she stands up, panic written all over her face. Yeah. Just a minute, she replies, trying to maintain her composure. I can't let this moment slip away. As Mark nears, I lean in closer to Sarah. You need to choose your next words wisely, I whisper, my voice low and dangerous. Please, she murmurs, her voice barely above a whisper. Just let it go. But I shake my head. No. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. As Mark approaches, I straighten up, putting on a mask of indifference. Hey, Mark, I say coolly, locking eyes with him. Nice to see you. He raises an eyebrow, taken aback by my presence. Oh, hey. I didn't know you were here. Just having a little chat with Sarah, I reply, glancing at her. Right, babe? Her eyes dart between us, and I can see the gears turning in her mind, realizing that the situation has spiraled out of her control. Yeah, just catching up, she stammers, her voice shaky. Well, I hope I'm not interrupting anything important, Mark smirks, clearly unaware of the storm brewing. Oh, not at all, I say, feigning a smile. Just discussing how much of a good time Sarah has been having at work lately. I can see Mark's demeanor shift, a flicker of confusion crossing his face. Yeah, she's been doing great, he replies, glancing at Sarah, who looks like a deer caught in headlights. Yeah, I heard you gave her that necklace, I say casually, watching his reaction closely. Nice touch. He stiffens slightly, and I can tell I've struck a nerve. What do you mean, he asks, the facade of confidence slipping. Just a little something to remind her of her accomplishments, I guess, I say, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Before he can respond, I turn to Sarah, leaning in closer. You should probably come clean about everything, sweetheart. I wouldn't want any misunderstandings. Mark looks back and forth between us, confusion and concern mingling in his eyes. Is everything okay? Perfectly fine, I reply, a smile playing on my lips. Just having a candid conversation about loyalty. Sarah glances at me, desperation etched across her face. We need to go, she says hurriedly, grabbing her bag. Yeah, we do, I say, my voice low and menacing. But I'll be around. You know where to find me. As she rushes out of the cafe with Mark trailing behind her, I can't help but smile to myself. The pieces are falling into place, and I can feel the tension mounting. They think they can play with my heart, but I'm not done yet. I take a deep breath, the thrill of the confrontation coursing through me. The intrigue of my plan still lingers in the air, and I know that my revenge is just beginning. The real game has only just started, and I'm determined to come out on top. The days drag on as I plot my final act of revenge. Each moment feels charged with anticipation, the air thick with tension. I can't shake the feeling that I'm sitting on a powder keg, just waiting for the spark to ignite. I've gathered enough evidence against Sarah and Mark to ruin them both, and the time has come to execute my plan. I decide to host a dinner party, inviting some of our closest friends. It's the perfect cover for my ultimate reveal. I want to make sure they see the truth, how betrayal can shatter a life and the lengths one can go to for revenge. I spend the next few days meticulously preparing, crafting a menu that looks inviting while hiding the venom that's about to unfold. The night of the dinner arrives, and I watch as guests filter in, laughter and chatter filling the air. Sarah is a bundle of nerves, but I maintain a calm facade. She has no idea what I have planned, and the thought of her impending shock fills me with a wicked sense of satisfaction. "Everything looks amazing," Sarah says, trying to mask her unease as she helps me arrange the final touches. "Just wanted to make it special," I reply, forcing a smile. "You deserve a night to remember." As guests settle in, I keep an eye on the door, waiting for Mark to arrive. When he finally walks in, my heart races. He's greeted with warmth, but I can see the tension lurking beneath the surface. He doesn't know that this dinner will be the beginning of his downfall. "Glad you could make it, Mark," I say, clapping him on the back. "I think you're going to enjoy tonight's festivities." "Thanks for having me," he replies, his smile strained. The dinner progresses, filled with laughter and toasts, but I can't help but feel the excitement building within me. After dessert, I stand up, raising my glass to get everyone's attention. "Thank you all for coming tonight. It means a lot to me," I begin, my voice steady. "But tonight is special for another reason. I'd like to share something that's been weighing heavily on my heart." Whispers ripple through the room, and I see Sarah's face pale. She shoots me a warning glance, but I ignore it. It's time for the truth to come out. "Many of you know my wife, Sarah, and her boss, Mark," I say, gesturing toward them. "But what you might not know is that their relationship goes beyond professional." Gasps fill the air, and Sarah's expression shifts from surprise to anger. "What are you talking about?" she snaps, trying to regain control. I pull out my phone, scrolling to the images I've compiled. "Let's not play games," I say, my voice cold. "You see, I've been collecting evidence of your affair. Texts, photos, and even this lovely little notebook detailing your meetings." I hold up the notebook, and gasps echo in the room as Sarah's face goes ghostly white. Mark's expression darkens as he realizes the gravity of the situation. "You're lying," Sarah protests, but her voice lacks conviction. I press on, revealing the messages, the incriminating details that lay bare their deception. "You think I'd let you get away with this? You betrayed me in the most despicable way possible." The room is silent, the tension palpable as everyone processes the betrayal unfolding before them. I can see Sarah's desperation growing, her mind racing as she searches for a way out. "Please, let's talk about this," she says, her voice shaking. "Talk?" I scoff. "What's there to talk about? You chose your path, and now you're going to face the consequences." Mark tries to interject. "This isn't necessary. We can handle this privately," he suggests, his voice low and urgent. "Oh, I think it is necessary," I counter, feeling the adrenaline surge. "You both need to understand the weight of your actions. You thought you could play with my life without repercussions? Stop!" Sarah cries, her eyes darting around the room as if searching for an escape. "This is embarrassing." I step closer, my voice lowering to a dangerous whisper. "Embarrassing? You think this is embarrassing? You destroyed everything we built together, and you're worried about embarrassment." Tension fills the room as I turn my gaze to the guests, who are silently watching the drama unfold. Let me remind you all that betrayal has a cost. And I'm about to collect. With that, I pull out a document that outlines the evidence I've compiled, everything I've discovered about their affair, along with a note detailing the steps I'm willing to take to ensure they both pay for their deception. "This goes to HR," I announce. "And the press if I need to take it that far." Panic flashes in Sarah's eyes as she realizes the full extent of my intentions. "You wouldn't," she exclaims, her voice rising in desperation. "Watch me," I reply, my tone steady and unyielding. "You've made your choices, and now you'll face the consequences. I'm not the one who chose betrayal." The atmosphere in the room shifts, the energy crackling with tension as the reality of the situation sinks in. Guests whisper amongst themselves, glancing at Sarah and Mark, who are now visibly shaken. Just give me the chance to explain, Mark pleads, his voice strained. Explain what? How you've been stringing both of us along? I shoot back, my patience wearing thin. This isn't just about you anymore. This is about the trust you've both shattered. Sarah's face crumples, and for the first time, I see genuine regret. I didn't mean for it to happen this way, she says, tears streaming down her cheeks. I thought we could fix it. Fix it? I echo, my voice rising. You think a few tears will erase the years of betrayal? You've shattered my trust, and now you want me to believe that you can fix it. It's too late for that. The room is silent, tension hanging thick in the air. I can feel the weight of the moment, the culmination of my plan pressing down on us all. I turn to the guests, who are watching the fallout unfold. This is a cautionary tale for anyone who thinks they can betray those they love without facing the consequences. Betray those they love without toward the door, ready to leave this chapter behind. You'll never see me again, Sarah. Consider this your final goodbye. As I step outside, the cool night air washes over me, and I feel a sense of relief. I've taken back my power, and their lives are in ruins. But as I walk away, I can't help but feel a mix of triumph and sadness. This wasn't the ending I had hoped for, but it was necessary. I glance back at the cafe, the lights glowing in the distance, and I know I've severed the ties that once bound us. Betrayal has a way of unraveling even the strongest of bonds, and now Sarah and Mark must live with the consequences of their actions. I take a deep breath, letting the weight of the past slip away. The intrigue of revenge may have consumed me, but now it's time to move forward. I've closed this chapter, ready to embrace whatever comes next, leaving betrayal and the ghosts of my former life behind.